Hey everybody, it's me, Matt Rogers, letting you know tickets are on sale now to see me on tour. The Prince of Christmas tour, that is. I'm doing my whole album, Have You Heard of Christmas, plus a lot more with the whole band all throughout December. Go to www.mattrogersofficial.com to see me in a city near you. And now, Las Cultch. Drums.
Look, man.
Where?
Oh, I see.
Oh my.
Bowen, look over there.
Wow, is that
culture? Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Las Culturistas.
Ding dong, Las Culturistas calling. I just whipped out an expression.
You love this expression.
I do. I say it often. I was rode hard and put away wet. And I kind of used it in this way to say, like, we're old dogs when it comes to this podcast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we just we're withered and weathered.
Withered, weathered, rode hard, and put away wet. A frontrunner for title of that. I know we'll come up with something better. Did you want to ask about my sports pageantry?
Yeah, you're wearing. Now people don't know about this, but Matt Rogers, being the Long Island king he is a huge fan of Prince. Is a huge fan of the New York Mets. So major. So you're wearing a Mets T-shirt, and is that a baseball cap? A Mets baseball cap?
I'm flipping it around to reveal.
Pride.
It is actually a Pride-themed Mets cap
Lovely.
that I got when I threw out the first pitch.
Oh,
I threw out the first pitch last year at the Mets Pride game, and I gotta tell you, it was a strike.
wow!
And I threw it from the mound. You knew this.
I did know, but thank you for
went
reminding
from the mound?
I went from the mound.
Yes.
Because you have to understand, my dad is a sports dad.
That's right. He's
Baseball coach,
special
varsity.
rainbow ball they use for the day.
They really should have gone the extra mile there, but it wasn't. It was
attached with a streamer.
Yeah, I know. So
streamer.
they could be extra elegant and
like
queer.
Katniss Everdeen.
Yes, exactly. What Katniss was famous for doing, throwing the rainbow balls. Wow, already off to the races. But anyway, so it's a huge week for the New York Mets.
Explain.
So I really can't, but I know that it's a big week. In fact, I texted my father to explain. They went to the Mets game last night, and I said, can you explain what's happening with the Mets this week? Because I know it's a big week. And he said all these words. And I know that they're playing the Braves, the Atlanta Braves.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to do well this week in order to stay in contention for the playoffs.
Playoff implications.
Oh, there's
Playoff
major
implications.
playoff implications. Another front runner for title of EP. We're really rolling in it today. But this is a major week, so I'm wearing my sort of guiche, and I pray for them.
I pray
root
for them. Now, this is something that I want to come back to, which is this idea of you don't have to understand something in order to appreciate and show love.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You know what? I don't know how to do. Make clothes, and we're wearing them.
And we're wearing them. Wow.
By the way, I love this.
Thank you.
Bowen, would you want to describe what you're wearing?
It's a little cable knit cardigan. It is the second day of fall at the time of recording.
Woo!
We did it. We beat it.
I have to say,
we beat summer.
It feels even better than the end of Labor Day weekend, which I famously said was the end of summer.
But you were corrected summarily.
It was controversy.
Yes.
And we court a lot of controversy on this podcast.
Oh, yes.
And now no one can say anything to me. It's fucking over.
Stew season.
Let's go.
Stoop season.
What is the stew you're going to make this week?
I'm going to make a bo ko, which is a Vietnamese beef stew. Lemongrass down, bitch.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm doing it on Sunday. We're back at work.
You know, the top really jumps out when you talk about stew.
The top.
Yeah.
I've really been looking forward to this episode. I saw one of our guests at Seth Meyers. I had the privilege and honor of doing Second Chance Theater. Our guest remounted his legendary sketch called Mr. Cotter, where he plays someone who has basically just rearranged his life to look like his favorite actor, Gabe Kaplan, from the sitcom Welcome Back, Kotter. And
no one knows what you're talking about.
This is big mainstream.
People love John Travolta on this
Okay.
pod.
Yeah.
We love
Okay.
Travolta.
Yeah.
And so
He's been on 6 times.
He's been on 6 times.
Hilarious.
We gave him a jacket.
Hilarious.
And I stopped our guest. I said, you and Harper have to come on when the doc comes out. Rave reviews at Sundance.
I mean, come on. 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's all the percents.
That's literally every percent you could get. And not for nothing, but you watch it and it works on every level. I mean, it's an incredible story of friendship, of resilience. I mean, you'll learn, you will laugh. It's just got all the greats in it. And I really feel like I had so many emotions watching it. It's one of those like true feats of documentary film in that it captures so much. Like it's just fucking great.
Yeah, it's incredible. Will and Harper. It's out on Netflix September 27th. You simply must watch. We're simply so happy that our guests are here.
Give it up. Alphabetical.
Last name.
Ready? Here we go. Welcome into your ears.
Will Ferrell and Harper Steele!
Now,
Yes.
welcome to the show.
Did you drive here?
Yeah.
Did you guys drive
I
here?
love driving in New York.
Oh my God, it was so easy today too.
Today.
right? There's some events going on, and I don't think it's Mariah Carey.
It's Mariah Carey. It's she's performing at the UN General Assembly, which is also in town.
Okay, that's gonna be.
I always come to Manhattan during the UN General Assembly. And I stay in Midtown, in the UN area.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever try to
For the
get in?
pageantry, I've tried a couple times as a foreign diplomat. And I'm tackled to the ground.
Yeah. I was surprised they didn't let y'all into the White House because I feel like when you pointed to your face and said, "This is how we're getting in to see Big Joe," I thought this might work.
No.
I feel like you're going to get pushback, Will, because I think that one of the first things that's said in the film is you say, "Hi, I'm Will Ferrell, one of the greatest actors of all time." And then Matt and I were like, "Well, yeah, truly."
You made it a joke, and we think it's true.
I don't like
Harper,
hearing this.
are you listening to this?
I'm not. My mic's off. I can't hear anything.
No.
I don't know what's going on.
Thank you. I so appreciate that.
Is this a matter of dispute between the two of you?
Well,
It's been a little bit of a.
that's a point of
Yeah.
contention.
What is your greatest role?
Thank you. God, I love this. This is the greatest podcast ever.
I'm gonna say.
What is my greatest role?
I'm gonna say probably human being.
Human being.
Like the way you occupy
are
space
every
every
day.
The way, yeah.
I think people do think you're great, and I think people need to know that there's work. There's just work to be done.
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
improve every day.
Of course.
Work in progress. I'm a work in progress.
Yeah, sure.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel I'm progressing.
Yeah.
You're progressing.
Every day.
I'm almost there. Complete.
Oh, you feel
Yeah.
pretty good. Like you're
I think so.
okay.
What is your greatest role?
What is my greatest role?
Yeah.
Human being.
I start sobbing because I say best friend. I start crying.
Oh my
This
God.
becomes emotional immediately. I did want to ask about, so in the beginning of the documentary, you talk about your beginnings at SNL. You really felt you were a flop? You didn't think people were getting it at first?
Well, I kind of have to warm up to the room a little bit. Yeah, I'm not a guns a-blazing type. At least back then, Sherry O'Terry was the only
But
person
you were
I knew.
confident.
Yeah, I was like,
but
I
you're
wasn't.
a very subdued human being.
Yeah,
I
Really
was just
very
more
subdued.
like feeling it out
At first.
There were already
Yeah.
cliques that had formed, and people were way more like just kind of like really felt like they had been there the whole time. I'm like, wow, it just was overwhelming, and then but it's funny to hear. It was funny to hear after a couple of rides were like, yeah, everyone just thought you were like, you seem nice, but
Yeah.
he's not that funny.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's going
People
to do
said
on the
to me,
show.
it's like, who is that guy?
Right.
Why is he here?
Even though it was the same start week for both of you.
Yeah, we both started, but I had kind of come in with the Jon Stewart show, so I had a little clique, little group of my own, and so
Higgins
I wasn't,
Dennis
and then Steve had already sort of
Yeah.
gotten good with the Second City people because of Cindy
Right.
Campanera.
Yep.
They were best friends. So I kind of had a little bit in, and then I just would get asked every once in a while. We were all sort of sizing up the talent.
And I was also on the other side. My office was behind the page. The desk there on that side.
Yeah, wasn't part of the
No man's land.
No man's land. And I'd walk over to the writer's room table side, and it was gales of laughter down the hallway. Gales.
Yeah.
Wind.
Bits galore.
Bits, everyone doing bits.
And I was late on the bit, and I didn't already understand the
Yeah, it's
inside
like,
joke. And I go
who's
back
the
to my
stiff?
quiet
Yeah,
side.
not a good feeling to be outside of the bit.
No, and
just
he
like-
didn't. Well, also he just wasn't up for bidding for
Should
no
I
reason.
do some long distance phone calls
Yeah.
on my phone.
Good bit.
Doing your own bit.
And then I was like, I guess I'll go to IKEA and furnish my apartment. I don't know what else to do. They brought us in so early too, like a
really?
month.
Yeah, like
a
really
month in advance.
early, like into August.
That seems a little cruel.
Yeah.
That seems a little cruel.
It was fun though because there's no pressure at that point. So the show's not happening for a long time, and you're like, I can't wait for the show to start. Which obviously we know that's not really fun. The fun
It's the bits, the gales of bits.
it's the gales of bits.
Gales of bits.
Well, you two came, I think, and it's documented in the documentary. You two came on a read through day, I remember, and you both came down to say hi to everybody. It was so lovely. We'd heard the scuttlebutt that the doc was starting.
Wasn't Travis Kelce the host?
It was Travis Kelce. That was the week.
Yeah. We were once again overwhelmed because that was
not read through.
Read through in the studio is so foreign to us.
Totally.
It was a little
We miss. You know what?
Yeah.
We're recording this right before the first week back, and by the time this comes out, I'll know whether or not we're back on 17. I think Lauren. That's the mission Lauren wants.
It's such an intimate, such a better. Well, I mean, I can't compare because I didn't sit through a read through on this. But what I saw, it looked sort of hollow. And when you get up there on 17, it's intimate, and there's lots of the laughter you can hear, or when I wrote sketches, often you couldn't hear the
silence
laughter.
was
Just acoustically, it's better up at 17.
Yeah.
But by the time, when did the bit start of you walking around? And was it that you were Lisa Kudrow's brother? Like you were playing someone's brother? You were like
I was Chip Kudrow.
Chip Kudrow.
Lisa Kudrow's brother. There was no character, by the way.
No character. You had glasses on?
I had the same vocal intonation.
Most grounded character of all.
Yeah, I wore a
Your greatest role.
You
human.
You kind of, and Lisa, I think is fine with this, but you kind of dumbed Chip down a little bit. Chip Kudrow said really one line. He would sit at read through, and we would all be going over the sketch, and Chip would just go, "I would invert that." That's all he said.
Chip would be at the rewrite table. He's super affable. Happy to be there.
Everyone loved it.
Oh, good.
Always showed up late.
Always showed up late.
Sure.
And then
It was a Chip thing, not a Will thing.
Chip would just sit there smiling and giving thumb. And then Higgins or someone would go, Chip, do you have any notes? I'm like, I would invert it.
I would do the funny part at the beginning.
Exactly.
And then end on the
That was his one note.
Wait, well, so then what would happen? Where would Chip be? Like, where would Will be when Chip was kind of just holding, just being in the room?
It's like Superman and Clark Kent. You could never find Will.
And there was no distinguishing physical thing either. That's what made it even better than the whole Clark Kent bullshit.
Right. But at what point was there the comfort to broach Chip? Because I would consider that a huge bit.
Yeah. No, that was at least. It was not the first year.
No, that was a year.
It was probably second or third year. Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes people a couple seasons to show themselves.
But that's the other place Harper and I bonded. Just constantly reminding ourselves and everyone else at the show that like we're doing comedy.
Right.
Let's not take it too seriously.
We're gonna fail. We know that.
Failing is kind of
liberating,
part.
right? I mean, if you don't get
Gabe Kaplan,
but that ended up being such a triumph by the end.
Well, sure.
It took 20 years.
It took 20 years to get laughs.
But all it needed was someone to show a picture of what Gabe Kaplan looked like, and then when the reveal is that you look like him, it's funny.
Can I bring up, or you should talk about Box of Shit?
Now talk about Box of Shit.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah. We'll bring. No.
Okay.
I'm very proud of Box of Shit.
Yeah.
The first few seasons.
That's a rule of culture number 80. I'm really proud of Box of Shit.
The first few seasons of SNL, I would compile a viewing party called the Box of Shit. Mm-hmm. It was the worst sketches of the year.
Good.
And you have to include one of your own because you can't piss on people.
Imagine you did.
We all had shitty sketches.
Yep.
Though.
Yep.
Some people weren't invited to the Box of Shit viewing party because they didn't have the same attitude.
I see.
Of course.
So you have to be
Too
careful
sensitive.
there. But if you're thinking, was I on the Box of Shit? Yes, you were.
Yeah. You have to be able to roll in the Box of Shit.
Yeah.
But it became a point of pride.
Of course.
No,
selected for
the
Box
Box
of
of Shit.
Yeah.
And we had this one sketch, and I'm not going to name whose it was. It was a commercial parody, but there was a laugh on it that was from maybe 42nd Street. It was the only laugh. It was so far away from the building, and we just analyzed it over and over again. Yeah. Was it a laugh? Where did it come from? Right. But it was silent. A commercial parody that was silent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and the phantom laugh is just a fuzz of static.
It was like
42nd Street.
And we were like, oh, that's just someone out on 42nd Street.
Wow.
Wait, can you do that again?
ASMR, that's very ASMR.
All you sound people, get out your equipment.
Yeah, no, they're gonna do what they're gonna do.
They're gonna do it.
Yeah, they're good at that whole thing.
Open up the pods.
Yes.
Is that the right terminology? Not really. Okay.
Open up the pods.
Let's open up the pods.
You always think whenever you go into like a studio or something that there's gonna be knobs like this everywhere.
Yeah.
Nowadays, very few knobs.
Nope.
I
Very
like the
few.
knobs.
I like the knobs too. Like turn that up.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I'm doing this too, as if there's like one ear. The glamour of recording
doesn't exist.
Is one,
it's gone.
One pod.
Yep.
This is hanging off
Yep.
your ear, the other side, and you sort of slide the knob and go, that's it. Turn the gains up.
Yeah,
I don't know what a single one of the words or actions means.
You sounded so professional, though.
Thank you. I have some experience. I'm near some knobs now. This is very antiquated. You need to email somebody.
Yeah, you face the screen, Bahid.
Yeah.
That's not where you should be facing.
That having been said, what if I touch this?
Oh!
No.
Would it do nothing if he touched that? Would it do nothing?
Okay.
Don't do it.
Okay, I'm not.
Or you produce this podcast. Do you want us to go down in flames?
No. It's the only good thing we have.
God, I saw the thing
Talk about the joy of producing.
Well, can I say something? Because I don't think Will
Please.
knows how much involved he is producing this project. He was under the table here working wires this morning.
Oh my God.
No, I got in here at I was a little bit late. So I got in here at 6:30. I'm usually here at 5:30.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I was making sure the board was hooked up.
Yeah, totally.
I got the Sony
Yeah, that's the Sony.
Sony full frame.
Yeah.
I lined these up and made sure the copy machine was working.
Did you get this really cold coffee for everyone?
Is it cold? You're
chilled
kidding.
down. Yeah.
Harper, you're not a fan of cold coffees. You want it hot.
I wanted a hot coffee, but it wasn't going to happen. So
It can't always happen because the thing about hot coffee is it can become cold, whereas cold coffee, it can become warm, but it can't ever become
you're
hot.
right. Yeah.
Thermal
I should have been
equilibrium.
thinking cold.
Yeah.
No, of course not.
Yeah, well, if you don't expect anything, you're not ever disappointed.
Yeah.
My eyes glaze over and I don't speak for the rest of the episode.
Oh, this
You just
poor
shut
guy.
down.
Yeah,
Pull out a paperback novel.
right, exactly. I think that one of my favorite parts of the doc was seeing you guys all interact with, Tina and Seth and Colin and everyone together. And I wonder, what is that like to go into the room with all those people? And of course, there's going to be the bits, but there is this very real thing of this transformation and this change.
Yeah.
What were those emotions that were going through your mind?
Well, very family-like because and I know, Bowen, you're there now. You probably hate everyone there. Of course you do. But
He'll never say the truth, but I will.
But I guarantee you in 10 years, that's your high school. You will love those people so much. So when I came out, the email got out to these various people that I worked with at Saturday Night Live. They were so supportive, so sweet. So walking into that room was just really sweet and felt like a family. I mean, I just was so happy to see every one of them, except for Colin Jost.
Except for Colin. And Tim, who thought it
No
was a
one
bit.
wants to see Colin. No one wants to see.
Who wants to
I'm
see
so
Tim or
tired
Colin?
of Colin. Jost.
Did Tim actually respond thinking it was a bit, or was that a bit?
He didn't respond that aggressively that it was a bit. I think, he got the news from an old friend of ours, Marcy Klein, and I think it came to Tim in a. There's a way to tell someone that they've transitioned, and then there's a way maybe not to.
But I hope you don't feel that your way was not the right way because it was completely personal and.
Oh yeah, no, and I no. I mean, it was again everyone, which to me is the laughable thing. We have a friend who came out on the Ellen show, but they were working at Ellen for like 10 years before they had the courage to come out as gay.
Oh, right.
And you're like, how is that possible? And I have that feeling, like, why was I so afraid in the world of entertainment? It's ridiculous.
I feel like that's sort of outside of it, but.
One thing that doesn't really come up in the documentary, but that I was thinking about is I was thinking back to that time, and even when we were really coming up in comedy, like it's funny. The other day there was a piece on Bowen, and we talk about the sketch that we wrote many years ago. It was that first sketch that Bowen ever performed in our old sketch group.
I read it.
It was about Joan from Mad Men, and I wrote it.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it, and I was like kind of reminiscing. And then I went back to those sketches, and I was like looking in 2013 at some of the sketches, and I opened one up.
Yeah.
And in the very first line, there's a transphobic joke.
Yeah.
And we were queer.
Yeah.
We felt very progressive.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I actually had to sit back in my chair, and I was like, wow, it flew out in the first line. And then I really thought to myself about how prevalent not only just casual racism, casual misogyny, but transphobia was
in the comedy world, especially.
Absolutely. And so when we talk about the entertainment world, you were in the comedy world. Of course, there was some.
Oh, yeah.
And I just wanted to ask, like, to speak to that, like, you know, I'm certain that if we went back to SNL sketches from your tenure, there were things.
Oh, definitely things would not write again at all.
Right.
Of course. Yeah.
And to know that you were dealing with this in the midst of that, was that a rub, or did you find yourself participating in that type of comedy writing because that's just kind of what you did?
I think I got so good at disassociating that it just was, and not paying attention to how anxious or how, miserable I was, not paying attention to that side, just letting this thing keep going and making, and just making sure that the train stayed on the track always.
Doing the job.
Just constantly, and I love the job and I love the people. So it's like one of these kind of impossible things to explain. You're just living this experience that seems in every way beautiful, and it was in a lot of ways. And then there's just this other side that's falling apart.
Do you think that disassociation led to, I mean, you're a funny person, but do you think comedy was a way to not?
Oh, without a doubt. No, I mean,
like
especially when I was a
and,
kid.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I became a class clown for a reason, I had to distract.
You flourish, but also hide.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think a lot of comedians, it's not about being trans or being queer or anything. There's a lot of things people are hiding in a comedy room. And yeah, I think it's just a very disassociative kind of world, really.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's a moment in the doc that's really beautiful where it's you two with Forte on a hot air balloon.
Yeah,
I love that man.
I love that man.
What a beautiful man.
Yeah. To get to that shoot, Will Forte went through 30 different trains and planes, and probably another hot air balloon.
He interrupted like a ski vacation or something to meet us on, because we knew we were hitting Albuquerque at a certain date, and like most people are like, I'm busy, I can't. No,
got out of it.
Had to be there.
Yeah.
There's a thing that Harper says where you say, I sometimes I wish I had come out sooner, but if I had, then I might not have met you guys, and I might not have had a comedy job. And I wanted to ask about this, what you feel about this like temporal aspect to being a trans person. You've always been a trans person, but then the moment of coming out or of transition, which are also two separate things that are chronologically on different, loci, let's say. How do we like reconcile those things though? Of like you've always been this person, and yet the moment of coming out is incredibly consequential.
Yeah, because I try to kind of reconcile it with the sort of transness of my whole life.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the transness seeped through in so many great ways, and that's just that thing inside me fighting me the whole time, and finally winning, and that's a really joyous thing to think about. Like I fought it so hard for so long, or when I say this is all complicated, but yes, I tried to keep this thing down, and it just kept fighting back. So yes, on the other side of it, it's like to come out in 1979. I mean, which I wish I could have done. I wish I could have come out in 1979. I'm not. I would have. I would have been as beautiful as Hunter Schafer. But oh my God. But yeah. But if I could have come out then, that would have been wonderful. I just don't know if the world would have been the same. And to get to Lorne Michaels wouldn't have hired a trans woman in 1996. I mean, I'm sure Lauren, oh no, of course I would have. No, he's not doing that. I mean, I could have had a wonderful life. I don't know what that life is. I'm not saying it was going to be misery or anything, but I also value all the friends and people I made, sort of just being half myself, So
I feel like all that aside, though, like it is, I think, pretty incredible that SNL like has already had a trans head writer.
Oh, I love it.
What I mean?
I love it. I'm looking at the cast and the crew and the writers now, and it's just like, yes, thank you.
But I'm talking about you. Like anytime people ask me, like, oh, what's it like with this,
of course,
queer sensibility that's broken in? I'm like, well, I don't think it's broken. I think it's always been there. Like there's been
second female head writer. I mean, Tina did beat me, so.
Goddamn trailblazer.
I know,
Fuck you,
exactly.
Tina.
Girl boss.
You don't
I
have
don't care
enough.
about that. You didn't need to lean in that much.
no way.
When is it enough?
When is it enough?
Tina, stop.
Gorgeous,
Jesus.
talented
Could you not
icon.
see that I was a woman?
You should have seen that.
This is Tina's fault.
Yeah.
Tina repressed me to get ahead.
That's the pull quote. This
Oh,
is-
honestly, yeah. People
Headline.
Magazine's coming for you. It is one thing that like really blew me away is, and it always blows me away, is when someone has a passion for solo road trips through the middle of the country. And one thing that this is part of the ride that I was on in watching the documentary was how I was checking in with my body, like when you guys go into those bars, those hole in the wall bars.
Yeah.
I had like a response to it. And one thing that I think was my pull from this was not only how beautiful your story was and how beautiful your friendship is, but how afraid I really am of those spaces and how I feel like whether it's I've been conditioned or I've learned and need to unlearn, but I myself have a phobia of a type of person I think that is learned because whether it's a trauma response or something, being defensive, and I know that I can code switch in those spaces if I really wanted to. In fact, I did it many years to survive in my own right.
You're code switching today with your
Correct.
mask.
Like this, I mean, but like, I think the reason I even own this shirt is because I had it a long time ago. But just the ability to go into those spaces is now one that you have to think about in a different way. And I think, were you actively nervous those whole times? Did you feel protected by the cameras and by Will's presence? So was that, I mean, I guess.
I mean, I wasn't as nervous. I mean, that bar going in by myself was a weird experience. I mean, I'm looking around at people I grew up with. I knew that world a little bit. That felt weird, but I also had a camera crew and my buddy Will was outside and I knew he was going to come in. So whenever I was traveling with Will, I didn't have a sort of typical trans experience, honestly. Right. But no, I've been back and forth before twice now. And I still, like you, I'm not sure I'm going to go back into that kind of bar at night. I will go into truck stops and the places that I love, and I have, and I feel way more confident. But no, I mean, and code switching is such a funny thing. There's a thing in this documentary. It just bothers me every time I see it. We're in that Oklahoma bar, and I'm talking to people, and I go, y'all. And it's fear-based, and it's not a bad thing to be fearful. It's safety, right? So, and I grew up in Iowa, and I know what y'all means, and I've said it. But every time I see it now, I'm like, aren't you proud to be out Harper Steele? Why you don't need to say y'all? Well, I still do a little bit.
What do you mean?
That's
What's scary about y'all, or what is it? Just
I'm just trying to connect with these people in a way. I am code switching. I'm trying to connect with them and don't hurt me. Basically.
Yeah, totally. But I think there's I don't know how this nests together, but I feel like there's code switching, and then there's also I would consider the y'all a signal, and a pretty neutral signal.
I take that back. You're right. Code switching has become a kind of a dirty word, and it's actually just a way to communicate sometimes with people. And I'm hard on myself, but Bowen, you do a great bro.
What do you mean?
I've heard your bro.
Oh.
You do a really good bro.
He's a very powerful masculine person.
So I've heard your bro hey man.
Whoa.
So believe me, you can code switch.
Wow, interesting. I mean, you haven't seen this guy do his, bro. I mean,
really?
But look at him.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all good, dude. I don't like the tension,
Bro.
This is the thing. This is the thing about like
when straight guys can like wink at each other and be a little bit whatever. I will say this: I went to a straight wedding recently.
But I don't know. God, I'm just thinking. Hey.
No, see, you get away with it.
But it feels
I wouldn't
so
think
weird.
anything either way.
I would never do. Anyway.
But here's the thing: I went to a straight wedding recently, and the straight men who are so comfortable with themselves
are touching all over
they
each other.
are all over me. I think that they wanted it more than any gay man ever has, because gay men are so aloof, and they're so like everyone wants to be like the one. Whereas these straight guys are like, whether they're gonna go there because it's something intrinsic that they don't know about, or like whatever, I feel vibes with them, and I know vibes. I know vibes. If I know anything, I think it's because of the code switching.
Oh, okay.
I know what it means to be repressed, and then when something feels open, like it's like a certain openness. They're interested. I don't know what it is, and it's the married guys. So I'm just saying, there's like
no, but this is a person who's very comfortable in his skin. And I always envied that in people,
That was so nice. That was a lovely compliment.
Did you write Mark Spitz?
I did not write the Mark Spitz.
Okay, but that was a lovely moment in the doc. But also, Sudie was telling me last night, was Robert Goulet? That was your last season? Was that all in the last season?
No, I did it a few seasons probably.
Okay, a few. But it was like it was after
towards the end.
Towards the end.
Yeah.
I feel like Harper, your tenure on the show is pretty expansive. Like you were obviously there when Will was there. But then
I was there with
2008?
Lonely Island and Tina and Amy and all these really wonderful, great.
I mean,
not to mention, really fostered so many voices at Funny or Die. Harper was like the go-to office
creative director.
And you'd stop by her office to get an idea or get a note, and she was like,
I'm kind of a genius.
Not kind of.
Genius.
You see that? You threw it away, but it's true. Oops, I crapped my pants. When you came out with that shirt, I flashed all the way back. That was one of the I think I downloaded that sketch on Kazaa. I was gonna say Kazaa. Like Napster, but not. You weren't gonna go to prison for it.
Albert Einstein didn't speak until he was 6 years old. When did you first speak?
No.
Spoke as soon as I came out.
Oh, okay. All right.
You were like, hey, how are you?
You're not so much of a genius.
Don't fuck with my sexuality, and then they did.
Is there a unicycle nearby?
Yeah,
right.
So
that unicycle moment, that was completely random. That was
no, there's nothing.
There's nothing
written or composed. There's this documentary, and that was very strange.
And the therapist at the Grand Canyon who was like trying to make amends for.
So for those who haven't seen it yet, because it hasn't come out yet, there are a couple moments in here where you're talking about how you would unicycle around your neighborhood
at in front of your childhood home.
And then a unicyclist just rides on by.
It was the universe.
Random.
It was the universe.
And you get on the unicycle and nailed it.
In heels.
I was going to say, that was
bad form. I'm going to say for all unicyclists out there, for the unicyclist press. That's gonna do like the review of the movie.
They're gonna rip you a new one. They're gonna rip you to shreds.
The way you went up that hill too, you had to maneuver some terrain.
The core strength.
Core strength.
It was impressive.
That's gotten every screening. That's gotten an applause break. When she gets on the.
It's the "Don't Rain on My Parade" of the year, and there's always one every year.
There always to be one. Let's start 1910.
1910. There's, you know what? I mean, I think there is some buzz starting about. I mean, obviously a
unicycle parade.
The unicycle parade.
That's starting up a unicycle parade.
I think.
Please don't make me go on the unicycle parade.
I think Bowen is hinting at buzz for the doc.
Buzz for the doc, but also a buzz for. And I don't. This is a little bit of a spoiler. But
start it though.
There's Kristen has a song.
Kristen Wiig writes the running bit of like the Chekhov's gun at the beginning of like write us a song, and then you almost think it's not going to happen, and then it happens.
And when it happens, it is. It was like the final release for me emotionally. I just.
Isn't it wonderful? She's just like, and that was a surprise to us. We didn't know that it was happening. We did the bit. We just called her and
actually hadn't heard anything. We just thought, it's not going to happen.
I would check in with Josh. Well, did she write anything? And the
Josh
the
kept
director,
it a secret. Yeah.
Josh and
So Josh.
So Josh
Greenbelt.
brings us in. He's like, Josh is like, why don't you guys come by? I made a few more little edits, I'd like you guys to just watch the movie one more time. I'm like, okay, sure. We come in, and then he revealed at the end.
Wow.
And Josh did Barb and Star.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he knew Kristen and was able to go and cajole her into writing a song. But oh my God, I love her to death.
She's so brilliant. I mean, like, and also the song is not only beautiful but also funny. And I mean, I won't ruin it, but you know, it goes places musically.
Yeah, we gave her some interesting notes.
Yes. Yes.
As part of the bit, and yet
she kind of makes Except, did she pull off the country? No.
No.
Yeah. No.
I think it was in there, Kristen.
Yeah.
I think it lived in there a little bit.
Okay. We take it back. What drivel? What terrible songwriting.
Awful.
I think we should ask Harper the question.
Okay.
Oh
boy, shit.
We're gonna ask you the question we ask all of our guests, which is, Harper Steele, what was the culture that made you say culture was for me?
I hope this is a good answer because I really don't know what you guys mean by the word culture.
That's actually by design,
so
and it leads
old.
to interesting answers.
But I'm going to tell you. So, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Thank you for that.
It wasn't the movie. I was in Chicago. I saw it with friends. Afterwards, it was at the Biograph Theater. Afterwards, we went to a diner. I'm sitting with my broy friends, and in comes 4 queens.
Yeah.
And they're over here, and I'm over here. I'm watching this group over here, and if I could have split my body in half at that point, I would have gone over to that table.
Wow.
But something kept me over on this side, and it was intense. I could feel it, like, oh, there it is over there. You can reach it. Nope, can't have it.
So this was after you had seen it?
So I was 1981 maybe. I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you, just to be clear, you went
I went to see Rocky Horror Picture Show. The whole night was magical. People up on stage doing Frankenfurter or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, but it was really just being in that neighborhood, sort of Chicago-y neighborhood. I can't remember what it is, but
Lincoln Park.
God, thank you, Will.
Sears Tower.
You have. I'm so happy.
The fairgrounds. Southside.
I'm so happy that
Obama's
you're here.
house.
No, this is my hype man.
Winter Circle.
I need this.
Wicker Park.
But anyway, yeah, it was in this neighborhood, and there obviously queer people went and saw the movie, and then I'm sitting there looking, and I don't know what their gender was or anything. Was just like, oh, this is fun over there.
Were there remarks from the bros at the table?
No.
Or were you the only person?
No one was really. In fact, there was another person who came out later at the table.
I was just going to say, are you in touch with any of those bros?
Oh, yeah. No.
Okay.
Of course, some of those bros, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lauren Michaels.
I was hanging out with Lauren Michaels, and we were just like, hey, the Cubs are playing tomorrow.
I've got an idea for the show.
But you're not
Friday Night Live.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of going back.
Yeah. I'm thinking of going back. Well, you should. It's going to be. I told him. I said, go back. You have to go back, Lauren. I think it's going to work.
It needs you.
Yeah. But anyway, that was my culture moment. I don't know if that's.
Oh,
That's
no,
an
it's
incredible
a perfect
answer.
answer.
Yeah.
In fact, I actually feel a little seen by the answer because when we were 18, one of the Welcome Week activities that I did, I don't know if you remember this, but they had the Rocky Horror Picture Show at NYU, and they were showing the movie, and it was interactive. And it was one of those things I think I was aware of what Rocky Horror was. I think I just thought it was a movie with Susan Sarandon.
Right. Oh, my goodness.
As I want to think.
Yeah.
But then in seeing what it was and seeing that it was a place for people to truly let their, I guess, freak flag fly.
Yeah.
And access this part of yourself that was like the animal. And then, what's funny is a couple months later, Lady Gaga would sort of take over New York and the little monster thing would happen.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like something was speaking to me on high to see these things and feel these things. And I remember they had a moment in the thing where they stopped it and they said, we're going to come out into the audience and we're going to pick people out of the crowd and you're going to come up and everyone's going to do a fake orgasm.
Whoa.
And
Oh my
so,
gosh.
For some reason,
I wouldn't have been able to do it at all. No way.
I don't know
Right,
why,
that's a
but I
lot.
raised my hand.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
good
And
for
I
you.
went up there and I did a terrible fake orgasm. Like
But wait,
horrible.
is
and
it-
I got
is-
booed.
One at a time.
We went down the line.
By the way, do you still
They
get
line
booed?
everyone up. Yeah.
They lined us all up, and
Yeah.
there were these people in like fishnets and corsets
Yeah.
and like
Boo
crazy
after every
makeup.
orgasm.
Yeah.
And like they got to me, and I did this horrible thing. I think I was wearing American Eagle. You know what I mean? Like it was like horrible. I was in my like Long Island drag, very much like this, and I did a terrible one. And they booed me, and I went to sit in my seat, and I was like, "Wow, I am so far away from being the person I want to be."
Oh, yeah.
Because you have so many checkpoints.
Oh, yeah.
And
It wasn't going to happen. It just
No.
wasn't going to happen. I could just,
I've never seen Rocky Horror.
Will Ferrell.
Can I tell you something?
I
I haven't either.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to
haven't
say when Will sees
Okay.
it, he will come out.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
What are you
There's like
doing
a
tonight?
70% chance.
It will free you.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
That wasn't a good number.
Wow, wait. I can't believe you've never seen it
never
either.
seen it.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that's so
But I
funny.
remember it
It's
was
not
always
necessary, really. It was at a certain
feel like
point,
it is.
but I'm loving that. That's the
isn't
same
that funny?
story, right?
It's really, it came at a time when I was like, and I was, you want to know what it was? The way you felt compelled to go over there.
Yeah.
I was compelled to get up on the stage.
Yeah.
And I didn't
sort of
ever
out of
have any-
body.
Yeah.
It was like a
Right.
tractor beam. Yeah.
It was like,
yeah.
I'm raising my hands, and I went
Yeah.
up there and had a bad experience.
Yeah.
But it ended up being memorable.
Yeah.
And it ended up being really formative because I remember looking around and seeing people who didn't seem to care about anyone thinking about them and looking, oh, they look gay, or they look weird, or they look dark,
Yeah.
or they look
yeah.
fucked, or they look
Yeah.
ugly,
Yeah.
or they look really fucking hot.
Yeah.
You know, it was just everyone being all those things all at once, and the screaming and the lack of
Yeah.
decorum being
Yeah.
a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something about it that made me, and I think a few years later we would discover, like, you know, it's weird now because it's such a mainstream part of culture, but RuPaul's Drag Race at the time and when it started was like, whoa, drag.
Yeah.
RuPaul saying you're all born naked and the rest is drag. You don't have to be in these boxes. That was like a revolution
And
at the time for a
people
young
coming out as
person.
trans on the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not
Yeah,
giving
yeah.
a vocabulary to people.
Yeah, over time, yeah. But it is it's interesting you say that.
Yeah.
But I feel like, see, you're still holding on to some of those. There's still some residue from that time, like the Met shirt, let's say, right? And like the American Eagle sort of like aesthetic. And I feel like what I also really enjoyed about the documentary and Harper's story is that like there's this identity with the road tripping and like knowing where all the best record stores are and drinking shitty beer.
Yeah, I'm not
Natty
going to
Light.
lose that. I mean, I consider that Harper. You know what I
That's
mean?
Harper.
Yeah.
And like just like knowing, like, I think Seth makes a joke of like
Oh God. Yeah.
the list of the best dumpsters for use.
No one
furniture.
wants my list
List
of
of-
places to go in the country. I think
Of
it's my
unused
favorite line.
Dumpsters filled with unused furniture.
unused
Yeah.
furniture.
I love that.
Oh, it's my favorite line. Yeah, I love that line.
It's. I mean, I feel like there's this really beautiful connection to like, I don't know, like beautiful ruin or something.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's the bad side where I felt like a monster, and then there's the good side where I see beauty in monsters. So they're just sort of back and forth fighting each other, I think.
Yeah. Have you developed like a queer community? Do you feel like, you know, there's queer people that are
It's
now
slow
you're like
developing.
sisters now?
It's slow developing.
Yeah.
I have some trans friends. It's slow developing. It's one of those things that I just am looking for. The queer community, that's the community I was most afraid of for this doc. Sure. There's so many, the trans community can get a little snipey too. And I was really afraid. And then I did some screening just for queer audiences, and it was incredible. I mean,
You said it was super emotional.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm crying.
Yeah.
I'm on the cover
Yeah.
of The Advocate. This is like huge. Like I just like
Not
I
to
can't.
mention, if I can toot her horn, she was at Toronto Film Festival, was on a panel of queer trans filmmakers, and it was just
those
you were like
all-
the star of the.
Oh, I
panel.
was not.
I mean, you
Those-
really.
no,
I mean, they're
they're
amazing.
really
But no,
good-
they're amazing.
amazing
but
people
you
there.
were so hilarious,
Yeah, yeah.
and Harper and.
Well, that I am. Yeah.
And then a big group came to our screening that night, and Harper was holding court with all these young trans and queer filmmakers.
It feels really good.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's a slow process for me because I've been so resistant. So you know.
I feel like you are.
So invite me to your next party.
Of course.
You're invited.
Coming. Both of you. I feel like
Well,
there's-
no, not Will.
Yeah.
I don't have to. I mean, I'd love to.
You're
I mean,
busy.
I'd
Let's be
I'd
real.
love to
I feel
come.
super uncomfortable around him.
I make a great stew. I make a great stew.
There you go for tops.
I make a great.
You guys should do a stew party
Yeah.
and watch Rocky Horror for the first time, and we'll do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we have to break the seal on Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
But you're talking about this fight, for,
Mm-hmm.
between your body and your mind
Yeah.
your whole life, and then I think you were telling your kids before you set off on the trip
Yeah.
that this was a way for you to come out more.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, there's an altruistic reason. There was about trans legislation being passed across the country that's been very violent and very, you guys know the political landscape out there for trans people and for queer people in general. But so that was a reason to do it in terms of like, oh, this will have maybe some use. But yeah, Will and I like to make weird things. We do a lot of weird projects, and when
They've all been weird.
I mean, you were here to promote Eurovision.
yeah. So when Will sort of like said,
Lifetime movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
all in
all of it.
Spanish.
yeah,
Love that though.
Old
We're the
Milwaukee
same.
campaign.
yeah. So it was like
Cord and
it was like
Tish.
the opportunity to do this sort of strange thing. Also, I jumped at it, and then yes, of course, anything that's helped me because you come out, and I don't know if this is true of all trans people. My experience is I came out, and every day is just more confidence. So it's like there's a thing that you just kind of keep moving forward. And I just thought, oh well, this is gonna really just make me I'm done, and it did. It was really a wonderful experience, and I did go back across the country again, and both ways, and it was just easier.
What I love about working on stuff with Harper is that we don't necessarily know that it's going to work or connect
Yeah.
with a big part of the audience, but we know it will definitely connect with a specific part of the
Yeah.
audience.
'Cause it's
And
genuine.
it's genuine,
Yeah.
and we will always feel proud of it.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
even though that's sometimes hard in Hollywood to push that through the committee, but if you give us a couple swings, we'll make something original.
I think what you're getting at is this thing that I was saying earlier, which is like you don't have to understand something or someone in order to
Appreciate.
or just
Yeah.
appreciate it. And I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
that is kind of the beautiful thing about this documentary is that like you are being such a wonderful, and I think this is a perfect example. Sudie was talking about this last night. Like you set this perfect example of someone is really opening up to you and peeling back the layers, and you are just there to listen and say, and not be like, no, you're amazing. Why would you feel this way? You're just there to nod and listen and walk alongside someone.
Yeah.
I think that is such a good model that isn't really common in terms of like friendship. But I feel like even with Harper going into these bars and these spaces that are maybe potentially hostile, like there are people who like upon meeting a trans person kind of like put their shields down, and then there's connection that happens, and that is this thing that like you don't have to understand everything a trans person goes through in order to see them as a human being.
Yeah. Another thing too, in addition to all of that, it's just like the allyship, and it feels like we say it so much that it sort of loses its meaning. It's sort of like when you say like representation matters, like it feels like a press thing now or something, but it really is important, like the allyship, like if there needs to be a new way to say it for it to have impact in a different way. It's just like the whole time I was thinking like this allyship is giving comfort. And when there is comfort, there is the opportunity for dialogue.
Yep.
And that's why it's important that there are allies, because like we need to be able to communicate about these things, because it's only when we communicate that like, I don't know, maybe someone watching who sees you walk into that bar, shoulders aren't going to be up here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I did drop my shoulders there when you started to see the dialogue, that young man and his girlfriend coming over to you, and even after he misgenders you, there is the dialogue. There is not the thing of there was a misgendering and then the conversation is over.
And he was receptive to the correction.
Right, receptive to the
And-
correction,
yeah,
not
and
defensive.
not defensive,
And
and-
also then there was an opportunity to share and to learn and to feel good about it.
Oh yeah.
And I also think as comedians sometimes, and probably I think this is something we can all identify with, but we're scared of vulnerability.
Oh,
We're scared of
100%.
being genuine.
Oh, yeah, of course,
Because then that would mean, because you want to know what?
Yeah.
The boys
Yeah.
are not vulnerable.
Yeah,
They have always thought of it as, you talk about this, like, I want to get to the point where I can see my vulnerabilities as a strength.
Yeah.
And that is something I think is really important to, as comedians, like, call out. It's like, we're scared of vulnerability. And then, just I can say from listening to our fans, like, they respond to that. They learn from that. And
It's the
we're
greatest
learning from
thing
it
I've
from
gotten
your
out of this
documentaries.
is the learning that vulnerability is a superpower. It's
Yes.
like to be vulnerable is an amazing, because I'm just getting into so much deeper conversations with people around me because they see vulnerability and I express it. I have no problem with it. So
Yeah.
that's been just a crazy result of all of this.
That's the thing, I think, is and it was that era too, like that sort of late 90s, early aughts through the aughts thing
Yeah.
of like, whoever was saying how they really felt. You know what I mean? Like, there was no emotional comedy out there.
No,
It was not like that. It was, and that then you learn, like, it becomes a core belief that if you're like crying, you're weak.
But now there's this weird pushback
Yeah.
Yeah.
to like this new form of masculinity. Like it's so crazy that
What do you mean?
no, just I feel like politically speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
On the
We're getting two kinds of comedy. We are getting a kind of vulnerable comedy, and then we are also getting the other side, which there's room for all of it. Who cares? But this you can feel like people are like, hey, let's get away from vulnerability. Let's get away from. You can feel that, and I felt it in a Texas steakhouse. So you can feel it. As a queer person, I'm sure you guys have that spider sense, and I can feel it with this kind of comic. I'm not against free speech or whatever people want to do with their comedy, but I can feel that sort of backlash that's happening.
Sure. But I feel like also we had a whole we were on Fire Island, funnily enough, and then in August, and we ended up watching Zoolander and Step Brothers.
Yeah.
Because
And-
Catherine was here last week.
Okay.
Catherine was here last
Yeah.
week, and so we watched those movies, and we were just like, like this is these are perfect examples, and like everything you guys you've done together are these examples of a comedy that is a sensibility maybe of
Yeah.
like around masculinity, but it is not like for a specific audience. It is general in that way.
Oh, for sure.
And like that is when it can happen. It exists. There doesn't have to be this like
Right.
division among
Yeah.
who it's for, who it's by.
Yeah.
you
Right.
know?
Right.
Whose idea was Eurovision?
Oh, Will's for sure.
Yours?
Will's grown up in Sweden, so
I went there. My wife and I went to Sweden in 1998,
Yeah.
the first time, and it just coincided with Eurovision being. And we were visiting her cousin way out in the country, in this little cabin, and we had that evening. She's like, "Shall we watch Eurovision, the Eurovision Song Contest?" And I said, "Of course." I'm like, what? And I sat there for the next 3 hours. It was
Transfixed.
Yeah.
It was the final. I'm like, what is going on? What is this thing? And this is spectacular. And I was like, that moment, I was just like, this would make an amazing movie, and I'm sure someone will do it
Yeah.
at some point.
no one wanted to
no
do
one
it.
would touch
Wow.
it for 20 years. And finally, I don't know, there was just a gap in.
You told me to watch it,
Yeah.
and I really vibed to. It was almost like the situation with what I was saying about.
Rocky Horror.
Yeah, it was almost like that. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's over
Seeing
there.
myself in this.
Yeah, this is amazing. And then we actually went to one just to kind of like do research.
We went to Copenhagen.
We went to Copenhagen.
Yeah.
And that year, I don't know if you're Eurovision fans, but it was, and I think that this person identifies
Conchita.
as he.
Conchita Wurst, yeah.
Conchita Wurst won with
Won.
the dress, the beautiful
Yep.
dress, and who
Hit
we
the
met
big note.
later, who's wonderful.
Yeah.
And
Got her in the movie. Yeah.
She's in Eurovision.
That number.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
such
That shit.
just walking around Eurovision with all these queer people. It was
yeah.
the most amazing thing.
Of course, that initially went way over my head. I was like, oh, interesting performance.
No, and I'm
styles.
sure I was like, for
And-
you at
yeah.
that early part, I was like, it's so queer.
but like there has to be like some sort of spider sense that goes off in your head that Will is going to be a safe person when he brings you Eurovision as a thing, and it's like it's my dream
Isn't it weird,
to
though,
do
not
this.
safe enough to come out, because I really wanted to come. I really wanted to transition 7, 8, 9 years ago.
Right.
And like, I don't know what stopped me then. You know,
Was the pandemic a pusher in that direction? Because it feels like that was when people made big
a lot
decisions.
of people, because I didn't have to go into an office every day and face people. You know, that day wasn't going to be there where it's like, oh, I'm wearing a dress now.
Right.
That horrifying.
That's when I decided to go gluten free.
Yeah.
Huge decision.
Because you realize life is too short.
Isn't that the same kind of decision?
No.
Oh,
We are
okay.
talking about huge,
but I wanna share
life-changing
stuff
moments.
too.
It wasn't good that you did that.
Okay. Well,
Do you want to cry?
We're gonna cut that out. That
We're
was
going to protect
awful.
you from the joke
I
you
went
made.
gluten free.
Oh my God, we have such a long way to go.
There is a documentary about his gluten-free trip.
Yes, coming out.
But it's on Roku.
It's on Roku.
On Roku, September 28th.
It's on Roku Plus
It's a
Plus.
day. It's a Saturday release.
It's not getting the,
Roku really
it's not getting
does
the
it
same
differently.
press.
Roku
In
does
fact,
it
I'm
differently.
fighting with Roku right now because they're like,
Yeah.
we don't know if we can show this.
Yeah.
It's about your gluten-free journey.
It's
So
my
you and
gluten-free
Elizabeth
journey.
Hasselbeck.
And every press we've done, he's constantly trying to piggyback it, and
No.
Netflix is like, stop.
I keep bringing it up in the interviews.
They're spending dollars on press for you.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, it may be time to head into the segment. I don't think so, honey.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
So
yikes.
this is don't be yikesing.
Okay,
because
but-
you're gonna
wait,
you're gonna
you gotta
soar
give
and
one to
succeed.
Will, right?
Oh, no, I've already done this.
You do it again.
You're doing it
Oh,
again.
do it.
We're going to be doing it again. So basically what's about to happen is we're going to take 60 seconds each to tear something up
60
in
seconds.
culture. It's not that
How
long.
do you guys do it?
We do it.
We
I
barely
can't do it.
This is
But
a
you
barely
guys,
do it.
I don't want to
You'll see.
hear about
You
camp.
guys-
I'm
are like-
gonna read off my phone. Though.
That's
Yes, you
fine.
can.
That's
Because
beautiful.
I got so
like I said,
scared.
here we go. I have
You
something.
have something?
Yes.
This
Okay,
is Matt
well-
Rodgers. I don't think Sony's time starts now.
I don't think so, honey. Natty Light, you crazy bitch. What are you talking about, Natty Light? Love yourself.
Yeah.
You're on this journey. Keep going. Let me tell you something. Coors Light tastes like lemonade compared to this shit.
my God.
I'm talking to you as a Long Island bitch, okay? I drank a lot of Natty Light because I had to. In fact, I would put Natty Light in a funnel, take 3 beers
my
at once to the chest. I'm telling you, don't
30
continue
seconds.
down this road. Bud Light, please, just Coors Light, anything. Heineken Light, Amstel Light. Get some culture. Get some culture and drink an Amstel Light. Natty Light, if you don't drink it and totally drink it within the first 5 seconds, it
15
turns
seconds.
to devil's piss. This is bad. I will not stand. You will not leave this room still being a Natty Light fan.
5
Also,
seconds.
nothing that goes from Natural Light to Natty Light is moving forward in the right direction. I don't think so, honey.
And that's 1 minute. Harper
more of
responds.
it.
Holy shit!
Holy, that's like a blast furnace.
I couldn't believe my eyes, ears, and more.
Oh, that was
Can you
so
explain
good.
what you like so much about Natty Light?
It's water. It's not beer. It's
And
water.
that's the appeal.
Yeah.
Drink water then. At least it would hydrate you. Natty Light is just a road
It's
to
water,
hell.
and if you drink 12, you get drunk.
She is. She is starting to drink more wine. I noticed.
Yes, that's
Yeah?
true.
Lovely.
That's true. I can't help it.
What
It's
type
the
of
estrogen.
yeah? What type of
It's
girl
the
are you? Like red?
Red.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
red.
yeah.
Likes a good red.
That gets
Too
you
much.
there.
Yeah.
And do we believe that it's genuinely good for you?
Red wine, heart
Like,
healthy.
they say like a pregnant woman can drink a glass and a half, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
baby will be.
No, in France,
Strong.
they all drink red wine when they're pregnant. They don't care.
They don't
And
care.
then
Yeah.
those kids, all of them grow up, they're idiots.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
Have you been to
Running that
France?
country into
I've
the
been-
ground.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
We
yeah,
have.
Yeah.
You know the thing about
Deteriorating the whole country.
yeah,
Of course.
the thing about Parisians being rude, it's true.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
It's true.
And it's because of the wine.
Yeah. But I also then say like it could be because I'm like so American walking in there being like, y'all have ketchup?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh my
It
God.
is true. When we're in Sweden, you see the Americans, woo,
Yeah. they
a
pop
mile
out.
away. Now the Swedes are so like
We went on.
Right.
super emotionless.
I drank out of
But-
a carafe one time at a Parisian restaurant. They had a carafe and glasses of
Rim to mouth.
No,
Oh,
and
God.
you took the carafe to the face.
The waitress came over
And just-
she didn't say anything. She just grabbed that carafe out of my hand, took it away.
I was in a grocery store once, and I wanted to buy some carrots, and I took 2 carrots out of the bundle of carrots, and I brought them to the checkout, and she went, "No," and just threw it down on the ground, and I just started laughing. She wouldn't, because I wrecked the bundle of carrots.
You know what? You gotta laugh.
Yeah.
Sometimes oh, you know what? This is.
You're crying.
What?
No, I have my own things, so honey. This is
Okay.
actually, thank you so much for this because
Oh, okay.
you're giving me fodder.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there
Do
was
you
a
mind?
big assist.
No,
Yeah.
please
Okay,
take it.
You mind?
guys,
You mind
I
giving
can't-
fodder?
I can't follow any of
I'm all about
this.
giving.
No, you
Oh my
can't.
God!
I'm
Fodder.
Fodder.
Our fodder.
Our fodder.
hello, mutter. Hello,
Hello,
fodder.
That was beautiful. We had something happening
They
there.
did there was maybe a boy band, a
Yeah.
girl band, girl band.
Are we 98 degrees?
Turn
Okay.
up the pod.
Can someone turn that up? My favorite Kamala meme. Can someone turn that up? By the way, my dad texted me today. 143. He
Yeah,
says.
he knows the lingo.
143.
The new
It's the
Katy Perry
name of
album.
Katy Perry's new album.
Oh, okay.
And it's shorthand for I love you, apparently.
Like one letter,
Four
four
letters,
three
three
letters.
letters.
It's
Oh,
an
okay.
old pager thing.
143.
But now Katy Perry has sort of brought it back.
Remember when I had my ham radio operation? I
Oh,
used to do that.
yeah. That's right. Yep.
you had a ham radio operation?
No, I'm lying.
Oh.
But Harper
That sounds like Harper.
Harper brought her CB radio.
Yeah, on the
On
It
the
was all,
trip?
it was all cut out of the dock because we could never get it,
It didn't
to
work.
work.
It didn't
There's a lot on the cutting room floor because in the credits you see all these other
Tons of
places.
stuff.
Oh yeah.
You've only done the entire time.
250 hours of footage.
That's crazy to me. The editors deserve Nobel Peace
16
Prize.
days. That's almost all the hours in the days.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So many hours.
So many hours.
So many hours.
Okay, this is Bowen Yang's I Don't Think So, Honey. His time starts now.
I don't think so, honey. The current state of vegetables and produce at the grocery stores of America. Why did this person throw out the carrots? Sometimes I don't need 7 fucking carrots. I'm making 1 stew, not 7 stews. The recipe calls for 1 carrot. Now I'm supposed to come up with other recipes that are carrot forward for the rest of my fucking week? Who do you think I am? I'm a single childless gay man. I'm cooking for one and I like it
he
that
is.
way. And I don't want, why is society
30 seconds.
constantly pushing us towards partnership, towards domesticity with other people? That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful ideal to aspire to. But why am I on planes? Is the responsibility on me to change my seat with you
Yes.
because you want to sit next to your partner?
Yes. Make it about more.
Make it, this is
15
writ
seconds.
small, a larger thing about society that is illing us. Is
Yes.
that a verb? I'm all over the place with my words today, but listen, here's the deal. I don't want to buy 1 head of broccoli when I just need 2 small florets for my soup.
That's 1 minute. Thank you. Cut things up.
Cut things up for us.
I don't need all of that. Can I tell you the whole thing of bananas?
No.
Guess what's going wrong? 4 of them.
4 of them.
And there are so many people that could have
I
benefited
can't.
from they should have taken the banana apart. I'll buy 2.
Because we're
not
throwing so
5.
much food away
It's the
anyway.
food- it's
Food
crazy.
waste,
Ridiculous. And these carrots are going to waste, and they go bad way quicker than
Yeah.
you think.
Yeah.
Cucumbers, forget about
Forget
it.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shriveled up piece
Zucchini?
of pickle. It is
No,
ruined.
but cucumbers can be so beautiful
Cabbage.
if you use them immediately.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cabbage, forget about it.
Rhubarb.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah, Will can name like 30
Say her name.
Cilantro. Cilantro.
Cilantro.
You will not
Cilantro.
believe what he can do. He can name, seriously, like
And wait 5 seconds in between each one. And wait.
With only 5 seconds between each one. This
Watch
man can
Will.
list a lot.
List a lot of vegetables. Wow. Incredible.
You know what's flashing in my head now? You guys having your pedicure with Molly Shannon.
yeah.
I want to do a pedicure with Molly.
Oh God, that's if you're gonna do a pedicure, do it with Molly Shannon.
Yeah.
I love.
Oh,
we both
she's the
worked with
best, yeah.
Molly.
She's
I
the
love the
sweetest.
way she
The
engages.
greatest listener of all time.
Yeah. Oh, my
Isn't that
God.
funny? I
Yeah.
think that's so funny. So when you met someone.
Wait, Matt, hold on.
Yeah.
So your dad
Right.
took you to the baseball game
Yes. Isn't that funny?
and left you in the parking lot?
And I thought that was so funny of him to do. I thought, baseball, it's like you could be at the game, you could be in the parking lot. It's just so funny how you can be in so many places at once. Isn't that funny?
You're seeing Will and Harper today?
They're so
nice.
great.
Tell them I say hi.
Tell them I said hello and tell them
The
again.
best.
Tell them I said hello and tell them again.
Molly Shannon is Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. She scares the hell out of me because I used to have coffee with her.
Oh.
And in my journals, I'm writing, I think I need to be a woman. And I'd go have coffee with Molly, and she'd be like, my father came out later in life. And she's looking straight at me with those eyes, like piercing
There was a
through.
knowing.
She's always present.
Maybe or maybe not, and it's scary. She's scary good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a perceptiveness
Yeah.
there. Absolutely.
Yeah, she's wild.
Will, I think you should go next.
What do you got?
I think Harper should close this out.
Oh, Jesus, it's going to be so hard. I can't follow either one of you.
Of course you can. Of
No,
course
you can't. Oh, you do it for a living.
I know you.
We
this
do
is what
earn a
you
living
guys,
doing
you,
this.
You guys do this 8 times a week, like a Broadway show.
Oh my God.
We have swings.
I only just realized how hard it is to do 8 times a week, thinking about doing this 8 times a week. Now I really respect Broadway.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Hey, Patty LuPone.
Yeah.
Hats off, ma'am. You are a talent.
And Mia Farrow, don't forget.
Dear man,
Of course.
I happen to be listening to the pod. This is Patty. I so appreciate that.
I want
the
to
shout out.
say. Okay, here we go.
Turn your phone off.
But my phone is on in order to log the time. This is Will Ferrell's I Don't Think So, Honey. And your time starts now.
I don't think so, honey. Here's the thing. Okay.
Tell us the thing.
I don't think so, honey. It's none of my business. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's a book.
You're onto something.
Here's a book.
Here's the
this
book.
ties into the documentary.
Here comes the tie-in.
Here's a book that my mom literally had, a self-help book on her shelf.
All right.
Called It's None of My Business What You Think of Me.
30 seconds.
Okay?
We got there.
And even as a little kid, that was my mantra. If I walked in the room and I got dirty looks, none of my business what you think of me. None of my business. And as we went through America,
15 seconds.
America, the heartland, the rhythm, the flag, it was none of Harper's business what you think of her.
5 seconds.
She goes through this world, loved and herself finally, and I got a good camera.
I can start over.
Slay down boots.
Slay down boots. Thank you.
Yeah. Ultimately,
that
slay down boots.
Just strike that from
No!
the record.
We can't
Just
do
strike
that.
it.
And you know we can't do that.
You know we can't do that. The point you're making is important.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't know there was a K. Farrell.
There was a K. Ferrell.
The K. Farrell connection to your openness
There really
to
was.
other human beings.
There really was. She taught me to.
I mean,
like
she's
her.
a beautiful person.
She is.
She made you a beautiful person. Will.
You know what though? That is that's important. Like what I think RuPaul says that too. What other people's opinion of me is none of my business.
Yeah.
And if you know yourself and like yourself to a certain degree, like it's not that's on the other person. And if you don't like that, that's on you to figure out what to do with me. But you don't have to be the one to carry it. That's it.
You know what's interesting?
And I'm okay with how bad that I don't think so, honey, was. Because I don't care what you think of me.
There you go.
But you know what? That's
I
success.
care what you think of me. How was the audio?
It was great.
No, audio,
okay.
audio was a little spotty during that.
I feel like there's so many times where actually it's like what you said about touching the hot stove. It's like reading comments about you online is like you wouldn't touch a hot stove. Every single time I go to the internet,
It's a hot stove.
to gauge whether or not I'm doing well or people like me, it always is worse than when I wake up in the morning and baseline feel pretty good.
Yeah.
It's,
Right.
It's always going to be a hot stove, and why would you touch it? Okay, we these people gotta go. We gotta get Harper in.
All right, so
Okay,
here we go.
it's on my phone, so I apologize. It sounds
That's
like
fine.
it sounds like it just.
You shouldn't have said that.
This is
no, they got it on camera. so it's like-
Authenticity
it's like-
is
these cameras aren't-
beautiful. That's what people connect
When I
with.
plugged,
Chapel
when
Roan.
I'm
I
a writer.
plugged,
I'm
when I
not a
set up the
performer.
cameras this
Writer.
morning, when I
I'm
set
a
up the
writer.
cameras this
You
morning,
guys
I made sure they
perform.
weren't on.
Okay,
They just have a red light.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Sabotage from Boss.
give me a countdown.
This.
Wait. Say that.
Oh, by the way, before we're
I don't
done,
think so, honey.
Okay.
before we're done today,
Yes.
I have to go through some HR stuff with you.
Oh,
guys.
okay, no
Okay.
problem.
What do we do
Okay.
now?
I just got to get your W-2s.
Oh,
I never
okay.
got. Yeah.
Is that HR?
That's
not
HR.
HR.
Accounting.
Whatever.
I have,
You do it all.
There's cutbacks.
You do it all. There's
Oh,
cutbacks.
brother.
Are one of
At
us
iHeart.
getting cut?
No. You guys are safe.
Oh, thank God. Can I tell you something? I know.
Come
This is
on.
fucking huge.
Okay, Harper's ready.
All right.
Okay.
Harper Steele, this is your I Don't Think So, Honey.
Okay,
Your
it's a little-
time starts now.
J.K. Rowling.
Drag
Vicious
her
and
ass.
hateful attacks on Olympic boxer Iman Khalif
Yes.
demonstrates the very core of why some people hate trans women. Khalif is not trans.
No.
She's a woman.
Yes.
But because she does not conform to J.K.'s
Yes,
limited
yes,
and
yes.
frankly racist ideas of what makes a woman, she repeatedly called her trans and referred to her as a man.
30 seconds.
Halfway point. I don't think so, honey.
Wait, no. And I don't.
okay.
I should have said. And I don't think so, honey.
Yes.
Women can be beautiful in so many ways.
15.
JK is not one of those women because when you are hateful and bigoted in your heart, you are ugly.
Yes.
I don't even think she's a honey.
Let me tell you something. That's 1 minute. We don't even think you're a honey, and you haven't been a honey for a very long time. She's
Truly
dark-sided.
disgusting. Although Monica Khalif was at the Bottega Veneta show in Paris for Fashion Week, she looked amazing.
Oh.
Incredible. Wore a gorgeous suit.
Oh,
What are you
she's-
laughing at?
Just the level of detail. Yeah.
Yes.
She wore a gorgeous suit. That was so detailed.
It was a suit is detailed. No, and then have you seen all these things about like the mold in her house?
Mold, the black mold.
The black mold.
No, I try to keep away from her tweets
Of course.
because they're dangerous and hurtful. However, Khalif is suing her.
Yes.
Yes, and I hope she gets
Elon.
every cent.
And the libel laws in England are better. The libel laws in France are better. I just hope she gets a fucking
Of course, she has
ton of
to.
money.
JK is a Dementor.
And you know who's also like on this fucking turn? Not to bring other people into this, but Martina Navratilova is also being
really? Not
such a
good.
fucking
It's not
stinker
Well,
good.
that's
about
just
it.
turfy, right?
Yeah,
It's
it
her,
is.
yes.
People will just.
She's being a stinker. Huh?
She's being a
She is the
stinker.
women in trans women in sports
In
situation.
that whole conversation, it's like, all right, everybody,
Yeah.
just
Yeah, calm down.
calm down, or just even keep it to yourself. I don't know. It's just
Let's
silly.
end on a happier note than that, though, guys.
We will.
Well, we will, and
Okay.
I will say to end on a happy note because I know you guys have to go. This is
We don't
just.
really.
We're
So what did
that
you
was
do?
a
Why
lie.
did you tell us that? So what? If it was not going well, you could just
Big dog
get out of here.
Just
there was a little bit of that, yeah.
We just
Okay,
had a
we
plan
like
B.
that.
Yeah, well, guess what? You bet you have to do your own pickups then. No, because we know you have to do pickups for your show, and so now you have no excuse.
Oh,
No.
Butter, no. Butter, sit.
On a serious note, thank you so much for this just
Oh my
gift.
gosh. Yeah.
Like it
No.
really is, and I think that everyone is gonna benefit from watching this, and in a major way. And I'm sure both of you feel like you've benefited from doing it. That's what art is all about. It's about the sharing, and it's about the education, and you do it in such a light and beautiful way, and the heavy moments they really land, and I can't say enough about how inspired and how much I look up to you both.
Thank you. It's so cool meeting both of you, really. Means a lot.
It's our honor.
Heroic, both of you. It's very, very, very lucky that you're here. Thank you for coming. And we end every episode with a song.
Can I?
what's it? What?
Oh, yeah.
Can
yeah.
I get my parking validated?
Yeah. Oh, you did drive here.
Yeah.
Do you guys do a little wrap up at the end? It's like, those two were really terrible.
Yeah, we have a Howard Stern after show. And Howard Stern hosts it. Yeah, he does an amazing job.
Oh, he's here.
He does an amazing job. He's really good. He's a huge fan of the
He's
show.
wearing a Yankee shirt. Careful, man. Careful.
God, that's quick.
Wait, what's our song going to be to end it?
Heartburn will go west. Not prospecting for
Are you
gold.
hooked
This is
on the
a
song?
richer request. I saw it twice, and so I'm like, and I texted Kristen. I was like, you're getting an Oscar nomination, and also she's like,
I love the jazzy part.
this is the jazzy. I'll be off book on it by the time February or March rolls around.
Anyway, bye!
Yes! Las Culturistas is a production by Will Ferrell's Big Money Players and iHeartRadio podcasts.
Created and hosted by Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang. Executive produced by Anna Hosnier and Hans Sani.
Produced by Becca Ramos. Edited and mixed by Doug Babe and Monique Laborde.
And our music is by Henry Kaburski.
Hey everybody, it's me, Matt Rogers, letting you know tickets are on sale now to see me on tour. The Prince of Christmas tour, that is. I'm doing my whole album, Have You Heard of Christmas, plus a lot more with the whole band all throughout December. Go to www.mattrogersofficial.com to see me in a city near you.